Hi, this is Denise LaRosa, and you're listening to Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa, where moms get together to share our joys and challenges while also providing listeners with some invaluable resources and information on parenting. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, this show is about you, so please become an active participant by visiting www.deniseandlarosa.com, liking my Facebook page, Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa, and follow me on Twitter at Denise and LaRosa. With Thanksgiving quickly approaching us, I am announcing my Thanksgiving Family Photo Contest. Please be sure to submit a photo that best captures your family's love and personalities for a chance to win a wide array of products, including a Babies R Us Parent Survival Kit valued at $40 and Mary Kay Satin Hands Pampering Set valued at $35. The winners will be announced on my next show, which is Tuesday, November 18th. Today's guest is someone I've been inspired by for nearly 4 years now. I remember it was a Saturday morning and I was curled up on my couch sipping on a cup of coffee and watching CNN whenever this woman known as the Barefoot Executive came across the screen. I was captivated by her energy, her no-nonsense yet friendly approach, and I decided to visit her website to learn more. I was an elementary school teacher at the time, but little did I know her resources would become invaluable to me, both personally and professionally, in the years to come. From corporate life to teaching high school to sales to information marketing, consulting, and even virtual service provider, Carrie Wilkerson has been there and done that professionally and personally. As the Barefoot Executive, she has quickly become the definitive resource for helping others achieve extra income and career goals while working from home and keeping their priorities intact. She is a mentor, coach, advisor to more than 100,000 men and women as the Barefoot Executive through videos, podcasts, masterminding, mentoring, and live speaking. Carrie's work and home methods have inspired thousands, including me, and have earned her many awards online and off. An overnight mom to 2 toddlers through adoption, her priorities instantly changed, and so did her workplace. She's now built several businesses and coached others to do the same while overcoming extreme debt, losing 110 pounds, and having 2 more children for a total of 4, aging from toddler to teen. She has been seen on CNN, Fox Business, Lifetime, Newsweek, Forbes magazine, and more. I was so blessed with the chance to speak with Carrie not too long ago, and I cannot wait for you to hear what she had to say. I promise you, her words will both resonate with you and inspire you. While she has enjoyed great success, I mean enormous success, this is a woman who has managed to keep her feet on the ground, and her perspective on life and achieving your dreams is real and tangible. Please take a listen to our conversation.
Hello, Carrie.
Carrie. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Hi. I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm good.
It's amazing because I'm sure you get this all the time. Like, I hear your voice so much that I just feel like we've talked before. So
awesome. I do hear that. I've been stopped in public by people saying, I hear Carrie. I know she's around here. I hear her voice. So I guess it's good that people recognize my voice.
It's wonderful. And I can't thank you enough for doing this for me and just having a mom talk, a good old talk.
Yeah, sure. Let's fire it up.
All right. So I just want to tell you that you should to me since I remember one Saturday I was curled up on the couch with my cup of coffee and you came on CNN and I was so inspired and just captivated by your story. And here we are 4 years later and you continue to inspire me and so many others. So please, if you don't mind, briefly share your story of how you made the move from where you were about 20 years ago to where you are today.
Wow, that's a big, long story and time span. And you'll probably hear kids in the background. I homeschooled several days ago, I really am real. I really am living this. Let's see, 20 years ago, I was about to be a mom, and so let's just go to 16 years ago, which is I was teaching high school and working in a law firm part-time to save money for a house and for an adoption, and got the call that there were 2 little ones that needed a placement, and we were part of the Adopt program, and literally my life changed overnight. They had called a few months before just to see if we were open and wanted to be considered, and then we didn't hear anything. But the day we got the call, we literally had about 48 hours to prepare. So everything changed. My my priorities changed, my workplace. I just decided, because of the background these kids came from, they needed me, and they needed not to doubt who their mom was. And I made a choice to be there for them every day. So while I loved what I did teaching, and while I loved what I did at the law firm, and had loved all my positions that led up to there so far, mom was what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. However, my paycheck needed to keep coming. I didn't have a cash plan, so I just devoted several months to saying there has to be a way I can work from home. There has to be a way I can do both. There has to be a way I can parent and also pay my bills at the same time. And so I went to the library. Remember those places? Went to the library, brought home stacks of books, and started researching and studying home business. And I just couldn't find all the missing pieces. So I went into a sales career with a direct sales company, which is a great option for so many people. Love that culture. Love the training that comes with that. Then I moved into a service industry where I worked virtually. Before being a virtual assistant was cool, I figured there had to be a way to leverage the internet and the telephone and work with people across state lines and outside of my own geography, which, honestly was pretty forward thinking for 2000, and created a national virtual service company. Sold that to about 10 years later. It's still in business, so somebody else is running that, and started the Barefoot Executive when my fourth child, we added 2 more to the mix. When my fourth child was about 10 weeks old, started the Barefoot Executive. She's now 7 years old and in 2nd grade. So now I do consulting and work with startups and established businesses in their growth and strategies and on-trend technology, and mentoring them to do the same, to live in priorities. Priorities they don't have to be the same as mine, but live into those while creating a nice life for themselves. So that's kind of the short version of the story, I guess.
Yeah, it's just incredible, Carrie. And I have a saying around my house: if you have a dream in your heart, you need to have Carrie in your pocket or on your iPad or, in your hand with your book. And you just have a story that resonates with so many women and that so many women can relate to and are living that. And I just guess my next question would be, because your story is so similar, but you've accomplished this incredible amount of just success. First step from working at home and what keeps you moving forward, because I feel like so many moms are they have that same dream, that same desire in their heart to accomplish what you already have accomplished, but they're afraid to take that first step. So how did you do that?
Yeah, I think it boils down to what I call the 3 Ds. And you did mention that women dream, or they have the desire, but that's really only one prong of 3 prongs that are necessary. So the dream is necessary, the desire is necessary, but it's not enough. You also have to have drive. And drive is what gets you out of bed when you want to sleep, and drive is what gets you on the phone when you're nervous, and drive is what has you pitching your service or product to somebody even when you're afraid they're going to say no, and drive is what will move you into action. And then the 3rd key would be desperation. And this is what's missing for most people. Let's just be real for a minute, and I think that's probably another reason why you like me, is because I am so honest, sometimes too honest, I guess. And this is the missing key, and the fact is too many people have an extra income, or have a spousal income, or have a child support, or have another job, and they just don't have desperation. They have the dream, they have the desire, they have the drive to work at it sporadically, but they don't have to do it, and so they don't make it work. So I guess the difference was I had these 2 little people depending on me, and yes, there was an extra income in play at that point, but I had a desperation of a 6 to 8 week time frame when my teacher paycheck was going to end and wasn't going to start again. So I had to make up that immediate gap. But then several years later, the desperation increased because my oldest, as so many people have heard me discuss, has special needs. He has permanent brain damage from fetal alcohol syndrome, choices that his birth mom made. And so his therapy and school and tuition and all those things are upwards of $4,000 a month. If I were typing this, I would say that's not a typo, but I would say that's a month. So that's a salary. So what motivates me? How about that? What keeps me going? Well, my husband worked at home for me for 11 years too. So what motivated me was groceries and the mortgage and those kind of things. So I would say the reason I'm successful, or the reason you see other high-profile women as being successful, is that our desperation is different. We're paying the bills, y'all. We're supporting our families. We're not relaxing on any other income. We're not dependent on, it's too easy when you have another job and you're building something part-time. It's too easy to say, well, you know what, my bills are covered. I'll do that next month. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that another day. I didn't have the other day. I had to do it now. And now, of course, I have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people that listen and learn and read and depend on me in different ways. And so now I have that too. But it still is about, are you desperate enough? There's a reason that we don't hear stories about people losing 20 pounds, or people getting out of $10,000 worth of debt, or people making incremental life changes. There's a reason we don't hear about that, and that's because tend not to make a change until they're diagnosed with something terminal, or their kid is. People tend not to make a change until they get pink slipped or fired from their job, or their spouse does, or until their parent is about to be put in a state-run facility because there are no funds, or because they're about to hit bankruptcy. There's a reason that the stories you hear are $100,000 debt stories or bankruptcy stories. There's a reason that the weight loss stories you hear are 100 pounds or more, or the depression that was a suicide attempt. There's a reason, and it's because we're not desperate enough until circumstances force us to be. And I really, if I could sell desperation in a bottle, if I could really help people see a more desperate picture of what their life could be within 2 weeks of a diagnosis, or a foreclosure, or a job loss, or an illness, I would. We need to function in that state of desperation to prevent us from getting to those points. So that's the difference. It's not that I'm smarter or more driven or more ambitious. It's that I really stay in that place of desperation to keep things growing at a healthy clip.
That's amazing. And it's so amazing, Carrie, because when I first was introduced to you for about 4 years ago, I was a teacher as well, and I was in a very different place. I'm there right now. When I hear you talking about desperation, I'm right there with you, and so I really connect with that in so many ways. And you're just an incredible woman, not just a businesswoman, not just a mother, but you've lost over 100 pounds. You've overcome 6 figures of credit card debt without bankruptcy or consolidation. You've battled insecurity, and you have 2 adopted children and 2 homemade babies. And you dealt with depression, job loss, and so much more. So you're, like you said, you're real. And what you're explaining is just so real, and how we can take pain and turn it into our purpose and turn it into a blessing. That's what I think about when I think of your story. And so, working from home is so opposite of what society tells us to do. And I actually here have a very personal experience with this, where people are kind of wondering, well, what do you do? And you must have all the time in the world. I actually wrote a blog post about it on my website. And it's just not what society has trained us to do. People think that you're not working on it, you're getting up, getting dressed, going to the 9 to 5, coming home, eating, going to bed, and doing it all over again. What is your advice to moms who have that dream, and they're living it now, they're experiencing it in the very beginning stages, but they're encountering the naysayers or the people who just don't get it?
Yeah, I think if somebody were to say something negative about our child or our brother or sister or our spouse or someone we loved, we'd be quick to defend them or quick to dismiss them. But yet when it's us, we feel like we need to conform. And that's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid. Oh, they're criticizing me. I must be doing something wrong. But if they're criticizing our child, we defend their right to individuality or defend their right to be special or defend their right to do what their individual thinking mind does. It makes no sense why we treat ourselves differently. So I'm really not quick to defend. I'm pretty quick to dismiss. I have a couple of rules, and that is, one, unless somebody's paying my bills, I don't really let them have a say in how I choose to live. You know, I believe that, you know, this is one reason I was independent pretty early, even with my finances, is I felt like if I, you know, even in college, if I'm paying my own bills, then I don't have to do what anybody else tells me to do. Not that I was a rebel. I really wasn't. My parents are great and we're very close, but if I wanted to make decisions that were against the status quo, it required me to be supporting myself. So unless somebody's paying my bills for me, then really I'm going to kind of do my own thing. And I'm pretty, of course, I was the only birth child of 4 kids, so I have listened to people say stupid things about families and adoption my whole life, and I pretty early on decided that you can't educate all people because they choose to remain in ignorance. So when people are naysayers and when are you going to get a real job, and, you know, I really love the answer of, you know what, we do what we feel like is best for our family, and I'm sure you do the same. And just leave it hanging. It gets awkward. It gets uncomfortable. But guess what? It's awkward for them, not awkward for you. Hey, thanks for your input on that. We're doing what we think is best for our family. I'm sure you do that too. You know, the fact is people are jealous. People are jealous that they can't buck the system, or people speak out in ignorance against things they cannot understand. And so rather than educate them or get all in a wad about it, I just go, hey, you know what? I'm doing what I feel like is best for us. I'm sure you do that too. Congratulations. Right. You know, and people don't really know. Yeah, people don't really know how to answer it. So it's awesome. Yeah. But the other thing is, you know, let's just get real for a minute. Ladies, when you prepare to stay home or when you first start staying home, get ready for that extra 10 pounds because the refrigerator is our number one form of procrastination. Our number one form of procrastination. We go back and forth a few times. You know, just be prepared for that. Be prepared for your own self-doubt. Don't take anybody else's self-doubt into yours. Surround yourself with some smart people that have aspirations and dreams. If you stay around the same people that aren't willing to make any changes, then it's going to drag you down. The word picture I love, especially for moms, because we've all seen Toy Story. This is Toy Story 1. Okay, think about that claw machine where it tries to pull the toys out, and Buzz and Woody are trying to hang on to the claw and get out, and all of the other little aliens in there are pulling them down, saying, avoid the claw, avoid the claw. Yes. Just think of that as the people in your life that don't want you to change or don't want to be challenged to change themselves. They're going to try to drag you back down, even subconsciously. They don't mean to be that way, but they're going to try to drag you into a place of non-change also. So just hang on to that claw and get out and do what you think is important. But also surround yourself with podcasts that challenge you and blogs that challenge you. Not too many. Don't overdo it. And mentors and interviews like this that will really encourage you and help you know you're not in it alone.
Oh, I love that. And I love your podcast, by the way. It's also yet another resource of yours that I tap into. And I just really thank you, Carrie, for really just giving us some wise advice on that piece, because a lot of times, like you said, that's what women do. You know, we kind of feel like we're not as protective of and guard our hearts as much as we guard the hearts of our children.
Right.
And I love that piece of advice that you have for us. So I just think about also how you do so much. Some women may get overwhelmed just listening to all that you do. And, you know, like you said, you're homeschooling and you're running a business, and you just are wearing so many hats. And you speak about, I love this term you coined, mom flex. So would you mind sharing with us, how do you manage it all, you keep from getting overwhelmed? Explain mom flex to us.
Yeah, momflict is, you know, of course, a play on words on conflict. And it's that constant struggle that only a mom can understand. Do they play soccer, or do I, let them just play in the yard? Do I enroll them for the SAT prep class, or do I just let them, risk it on their own? Do I program them so that they'll be competitive, or do I just let them have more free time? Electronics or no electronics? Do they need to try out for the school play in order to overcome their stage fright, or do I respect their stage fright and honor who they are as a little person? It's all those hundreds of choices we make every day that affect our kids. It's that constant conflict of feeling like, are we enough? Is it too much? Are they enough? Am I giving them every opportunity and advantage while also just loving them enough? When is it enough? When is it too much? It's that constant voice in our heads. And moms, if you haven't experienced that, then I'm going to have to check your pulse, because it's very real. It's the Pinterest mom battle. It's the moms versus the working moms versus the stay-at-home moms versus the work-at-home moms. I mean, we all mom against each other, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But we do that even in our own heads against ourselves. So momflict is that constant battle that we wage with ourselves. Nobody even has to add to that. It's just us. And what I love to say is that, girls, let's just do the best we can. They're all going to need therapy anyway, no matter what we decide. It's just the truth. We're going to mess them up no matter what, and society's going to mess them up, and they're just going to have to figure out their own path. But, yeah, that is like a working title of one of my next books is Momflict, and I do love it. I feel like it's just so descriptive once you get it. And you said something really key. You said everybody sees everything I'm doing, and how do I keep from being overwhelmed? I don't. I'm in an almost constant state of overwhelm. I mean, any mom that tells you there is a such thing as balance is lying to herself or to you, one or the other. There is no such thing as balance. I think a friend of mine, Debbie Cannon, said to me once she prefers to think of it as rhythm, because balance, you think of a tightrope walker, balance is stressful. Trying to maintain that constant, that constant readjusting. That's just a stressful state. But rhythm, I think, is a little better. Like, I'm in here right now with my door closed. The kids are in the other room doing some work. And is that balanced, or would other moms go, no, I need to be right in there with them, right on top of them. They can't do this without me. I think rhythm is ebb and flow. We do what works for us. We give and take. It has to be elastic, like a rubber band. Sometimes it's tighter, sometimes it's looser, and I think it's never perfect. One thing that does help is delegation inside your own house with the people that live there. Delegation if you have to hire some help out. I have a lady coming this morning to pick up laundry. Now, this is something new I'm testing. There's a genius business called Laundry Care. Let me see if I can find her site while we're on here. I think it's laundrycare.biz. Yep, laundrycare.biz, and she's nationwide. Genius businesswoman that then she subcontracts with women in the local area that are willing to do laundry. She finds the leads and collects the payments and has the standards of operation, and then local women can work from their home doing laundry, right? So I have a woman. It's crazy good. So she comes and picks up a bag from me, and then she brings it back 2 days later all folded. Yay.
Wow.
Life is, that's manna, right? And it's so affordable when you consider what all I have going on and how many hours it would take me to do that. It's so affordable. It's like $35 for a trash bag size of laundry. It's crazy good. When you have all these little people, we go through lots of laundry. So, I delegate some things like that sporadically. Now, I don't have a full-time maid. I don't have full-time help. I have a mother's helper that comes 1 day a week to help with the kids' school and to help so that I can do interviews and those kind of things. I use a homeschool graduate, and she's amazing. And so mother's helper every now and then, help with delegation, help inside the house. The kids put their own stuff away. I certainly don't, cater to their every whim, for sure. There are sometimes they need to go sit and read quietly while I'm writing or reading or whatever, and I think that helps them be good citizens.
Yes.
But I don't balance it at all. I'm really maniacal with my calendar. I very carefully calendar things, stay on top of things like that. And sometimes I drop the ball. It just is what it is. I don't homeschool full-time, though. Let me clarify that. They go to a college model school. It's what it's called. They go 2 days a week. My elementary kids do 2 days a week. And then I co-teach on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It means they have a syllabus and they have curriculum, and I work through it with them. So, I'm not full-time homeschooling like all out. I'm just 3 days a week they do school here with me. So it's a little bit different, but still time intensive and still a shift for us. But
exactly.
I cook many nights, but I love my crock pot and I make that work for us. And I don't cook super fancy, and I don't cook everything organic and from scratch and all that, but I do the best I can, and I feel like that's all we can ask of ourselves. The problem comes when our expectations for ourselves are this Martha Stewart icon and the nanny combined, Martha Stewart, yes, the nanny, and Mrs. Brady plus Alice all rolled into one. I think that's when we start sabotaging ourselves. I don't think anybody expects that of us, and sometimes the reason we expect it of ourselves is to excuse ourselves from doing something different that's not in our comfort zone. And that's kind of an ouch, but it's true. A lot of women will use their kids as an excuse not to do something for themselves or for their family, when really I firmly believe and have said for at least 10 years, use your kids as a reason that you have to do something different, that you have to take care of you, and that you need to do something that stretches you, not only to be an example for your kids, but also to change your circumstances and your kids' circumstances.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, that brings me to something, Carrie, that before we end this amazing conversation, I was thinking about one thing that you say so many amazing things. And when I heard you just now, I was thinking about this quote, and I'll quote you on all the time: progress beats perfect every time.
Yep.
I love that. I mean, there's no more you can say. It's so simple, but it's real, and it's just something that we fail to realize sometimes. But progress beats perfect every time. I love that.
And so, here's the reason why that's important, because there is no perfect.
Right.
There is no perfect. What you think is perfect may not be what I think is perfect. And we have this elusive Pinterest thing in our head for birthday parties and even proposals and prom asks and engagements and weddings and baby showers and decorating rooms. And we have this Pottery Barn image in our head that our house should look like the catalog, and how our kids should be dressed and looked and act. And it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There is no perfect. Progress is pretty darn perfect. My kids think I'm pretty darn perfect, and the fact is I've not done one perfect thing ever. But I do make progress, and I do things and take risks, and I fail a lot, and I just happen to fail forward. I learn from it, and I move forward again. So anyway, that's why there is no perfect. We need to just cut ourselves some slack on that.
Yes, we definitely do, and it's genius, and it's just, of course, there's no perfect, like you said, so what are we doing? So I love that. Well, one more thing before I let you go. I just was thinking of something that you mentioned on your blog, carriewilkerson.com, the blog portion. There is something that really helped me move forward, because I'm doing this mommy blogging, this mommy podcasting, and it's something that there are countless other women that are embarking on the same journey as me. And so sometimes that can make you like a little stagnant. Like you think, well, everybody's doing this. What's setting me apart? But you said there are 3 core principles that make you and your business unique. And can you please, like your story, your skill set, and your style, do you want to, elaborate on any of that before we go?
Yeah, so there are hundreds of thousands of business coaches and business advisors and podcasters and authors and moms in business doing what I do. There are. What makes me different is my past, is my story, is what I bring to the table, and I'm not afraid to share it. It doesn't mean I'm always proud of it. I'm not proud that I was 266 pounds. I'm not proud that I was so far in debt that I mismanaged. I'm not proud of my depression or infertility or struggles or any of that. I'm not, but it's who I am. It's who's made me. It's what has made me who I am, and so my story sets me apart. My skill set is that, I was a teacher. I also worked in corporate. I also, come from a different birth order in my family and come from a unique situation there. And so what sets me apart is that my skill set happens to be in lead generation and online visibility and finding profit in unusual places. And that sets me apart. I work as a coach for several other business coaches. And I'll tell you, why do I coach my own competition? Well, their skill set's different. I have some that specialize in getting media attention. I have some that specialize in online systems and so many things. So there's that's different. But the other thing is my style. I'm Southern, y'all. I mean, I can't escape that. I could, but why? I'm a mom, unapologetically. I'm unapologetically a girl, female, all to the core, unapologetically barefoot and pretty anti-brand. I don't own anything of a brand name, anything. I just don't. I wouldn't know how to shop for Prada or Coach or Gucci or Kors or any of those. I just wouldn't. It's not my thing. And so my style sets me apart in so many different ways. There are more people that are status driven and, on the yacht with the martini in their hands and their perfect tan, and more power to them. It's not my style. It's not who I'm attracting, and it's not who I'm becoming, and that's okay. There's room for all of us, but you have to live your style. You have to live your story and your skill set, and then turn the volume up a notch so that you're not apologizing for it, so that you're not hiding it. When I was in college, I studied journalism and music, and they pretty much beat the accent out of me. And my diction, as a matter of fact, people would not believe this, but I was always the perfect diction student. Like my diction and lack of accent and speech patterns, I was always the star student in class for that, always the example they called on. Now, you wouldn't believe it now, and it took me about 6 to 8 months as a Barefoot Executive to kind of relax back into who I was and reach that. I was too uptight about being that non-accent, non-regional, non-affected persona, and that just didn't resonate with people. So I just am who I am, and I encourage everyone to be that to their market.
Wow. I love it. I love everything you say, of course, so I'm probably sounding redundant. But how funny is that, Carrie? Because guess where I'm from? I'm originally from West Virginia, and that's why I love your accent. And I, too, I did performing arts, so the theater, all that beat the accent out of me. But when I get really excited, you can hear it. So I'm embracing who I am, too. So, I mean, every corner we take, I just connect with you in so many ways, and that's one of them. So I love it.
Awesome. Well, I grew up in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that funny? And so, and because I'm a music performer and because I'm trained with that diction ear, I do tend to adapt my accent to where I am. So you get me on that northeastern side of the coast over there, or southeastern side of the coast, I'm barely understandable. It's a little ridiculous. So anyway, I love it. But we just have to be who we are. It's just people resonate with that. People like it when you're real. People appreciate it, and it's why I bring up my story. It's because my mess is what makes me great, not that I'm perfect, but that I am so flawed. That's what people get. That's what people resonate with. So embrace your flaws, embrace your mess, embrace your story of getting from there to here, and I think you'll see a big difference.
Yes, I'm living that right now. And I will end with this, Carrie. You have been, and I'm trying not to cry, you have been such a blessing to me, you will never know. And I'm a firm believer in God using people, and He places people in your life or on your path. And, it's just amazing that we're crossing paths today. But prior to today. You have just really been a huge blessing to me, and I want you to just really be a blessing to my listeners, those who maybe, I don't know how they couldn't have heard of you already, but those who have not heard of you. So how can they tap into your resources? How can they get access to your work?
Yeah, I have so many great free resources online. CarrieWilkerson.com. I mean, there are hundreds of posts there on business and life and family and balance and encouragement. Barefoot Executive TV, if you want to look on YouTube under Barefoot Exec is the short version of the channel. There are probably 65 videos there. The podcast posts to the blog, and you can subscribe to that on iTunes. And I also host live workshops in Texas and in the United Kingdom. So if you want to stay tuned at CarrieWilkerson.com, I debut those there. And I encourage you to get on the email list because that's where I send my content out directly and notices of resources and training and all those sorts of things. But probably what I'm most proud of, my most tangible body of work is still my book, which is The Barefoot Executive, and it's available in audio or for Kindle or hardcover at Amazon or, wherever you get your books from. And it's a great just beginning resource for people who are considering their dream and considering how they want to move forward.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. And what I love about it is, it's not one of those books that you read cover to cover and then it sits on the shelf. I mean, that is my constant resource. I mean, I've read it all the way through multiple times, but then I also find myself referring to different sections at different phases with my business. So I absolutely love it, and it's been a huge resource to me as well.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Sure. Well, Carrie, thank you so much. I appreciate this. I wish you continued success and blessings in life, and just continue to inspire us. That's not going to be a hard thing for you to do. I have a feeling. So,
thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it, and have a wonderful, blessed day.
You too. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to stay in touch with me by visiting www.deniseandlarosa.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter and get some valuable mommy resources. You can also follow me on Twitter at Denise and LaRosa, on Facebook, Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa, and or email me at deniseandlarosa.com. You have been listening to Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa. I will leave you with this quote by Carrie Wilkerson. At some point, you have to be more afraid of not trying than you are of failing. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more, please do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel or check out some more videos.